Hello, lovely people of YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, clicking on one of my videos or even being on my channel, then I welcome you and I encourage you to please like this video. If you do like it, comment. If you want to leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, definitely, because there's going to be so many more videos like this coming out for you guys, and not just regarding astrology, but I'm also going to be touching base on more spiritual themes. Today we're going to be talking about Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the 9th sign of the zodiac. Some of you guys might know Sagittarius is a fire sign. Sagittarius is a mutable fire sign at that. Fire signs, they're typically known for being quite courageous, quite creative, quite driven, quite reactive, quite aggressive, I guess, willful, strong. That being said, they tend to have issues with sticking to things and not burning out. People that are fire signs, they tend to come in very hot and heavy, but they have a hard time sticking with that level of intensity all the way through. And then you stick that with a mutable energy, meaning that this energy is open to change, this energy is open to adapting. They're not really set in stone with things. They're open to working with others. They're open to hearing other people's ideas and potentially adapting those instead of the ones they had before. But mutable energy, is quite easygoing, I guess. You have a fire element that also mixes in with a mutable I want to say like wildfire. Creates this like inconsistency in people where they have a hard time settling down and being chill, and so you will see that with Sagittariuses. They're kind of all over the place. They like to go far and wide, and they're kind of hard to tame. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which we all, have come to love in astrology. Jupiter is the planet that brings about blessings. It's a very expansive planet. Everything it touches, it expands and it blesses. So that's why everyone loves Jupiter in astrology. A quite jolly, positive planet that loves integrity. Jupiter loves philosophy, higher thinking, learning, religion, just anything that expands your mind. Jupiter is there for it. For that reason, a lot of those qualities rub off on Sagittarius. With a lot of Sagittarius people, you can see how they have this type of optimism to them with life, see them as like a guru type, because, although their stories might be extremely long, they always have some type of lesson embedded in them and some type of higher lesson. Sagittarius isn't so much concerned with the material on this earth. It's more so concerned with what's out there and what the truth is. For that reason, Sagittarius is also known as a type of energy that likes to travel far and wide. It's all different types of cultures, all different types of people, different types of opinions and philosophies and religions, because Sagittarius, at the end of the day, they're looking for the truth. That's the biggest thing for Sagittarius. That is their biggest mission in life. They want the truth in everything that they do. More evolved Sagittarius beings, they want the truth about the universe. They want the truth about why the world is the way it is. A lot of people end up finding those answers through spirituality or religion or travel, meeting other people, seeing other cultures, and a lot of the time you see that oneness in all of us, or the oneness and interconnectedness of the universe. It's like a solo quest for the Sagittarius. They don't really, because they're mutable, they're kind of easygoing, so they don't really care if there are people following them along or whatnot. It's about coming to their own truth and their own peace when they find that truth. So Sagittarius is quite friendly, optimistic and stuff, but they're not going to be as socially driven necessarily as some of the other signs, particularly the air signs. Part of its symbolism is associated with the archer. This archer archetype comes from man, half horse, exploring, aiming with a bow and arrow. A big thing with the aeroglyph, aim towards higher ideals or higher knowledge, higher expansion away from the earth up into the sky to figure out more about, for example, the divine or whatever is up above that many of us wonder about. The arrow also symbolizes need for direction though, and that will be a big theme in a lot of Sagittarian people's lives. You will see that they are constantly yearning for this direction in life. Most of the time they find it through higher learning. If you're a Sagittarius and you feel a little lost in life and you need some direction, maybe I would recommend exploring some of those higher thinking type themes, and you might find that you will find a lot of answers through the exploration of those themes. Also with travel, something that allows you to get out of your comfortable environment out into uncharted waters where you would have to interact with new types of people, new cultures, new languages. That is something that would be really great for Sagittarius or anybody with heavy Sagittarius rulership in their chart, because that is what's going to bring you a lot of the reward that Jupiter can bring you, because Jupiter wants to reward those that earn it, and a lot of the time you will see Jupiter blessing those that have come to understand life outside of the material realm, or those that have a strong faith, or those that have done a lot of searching in other places. Jupiter will typically gift you with abundance if you do those types of quests. And again, abundance doesn't always mean just material abundance. Abundance can also come in different forms. So it can come in spiritual abundance, so you just have a lot of knowledge about themes that a lot of people might not know about, and so you can actually become a very good guru. Sagittarius people, they might be able to fill that role very well because they are searching for the truth and they're searching for direction in life. And so I feel like when a more evolved Sagittarius finds that direction, they are really good at sharing that truth with others and helping others find their way as well. So themes that might come up with Sagittarius is yearning for adventure, yearning for higher knowledge, for the truth. Once you find this truth, being passionate and very strong and creative and like in the way that you express it to others, but then the mutability kind of comes in and allows you to spread your seeds, of knowledge amongst different cultures, or pick up different seeds of knowledge from different cultures and bring that with you, kind of spread them everywhere you go. This can also manifest as a Sagittarius needing a lot of adventure, having a hard time being tied down by things, becoming very tied in with their belief systems or their ideals, being very committed to the discovery of new information that might help humanity as a whole, but more so just bring direction to humanity, what we should be prioritizing. I mean, it might not even be that broad. That being said, Sagittarius, they tend to very broad themes, and when you like broad themes, you tend to want to apply them broadly as well. So that's why I feel like, Sagittarius and Aquarius sometimes have some crossover. Aquarius, wants to bring change because they are inventive and they're humanitarian, so they want to bring effective change for humanity as a whole. Sagittarius ties into that a little bit, but I don't feel that Sagittarius has such a big emphasis on wanting to overhaul everything and changing it like Aquarius does. Sagittarius more so just wants to find the truth and spread that truth, and if the truth might counteract what we're currently living in or whatnot, then that might trigger some humanitarian or activist type tendencies in the Sagittarius. Speaking the truth is going to be huge for them, where some of that fire can come in, because once Sagittarius is kind of set on what the truth might be, they are going to be very passionate and bring that fire to it. And yeah, Sagittarius is going to be very intense sometimes with new discoveries, or when they feel like they've hit like their eureka, they're going to run with that and be very passionate about sharing that information with other people. Or if they're asked, they're not going to be shy about their belief systems. Terms to just summarize Sagittarius as a whole, they can be seen as very progressive types. You might notice that they have a bit of like a restless spirit to them. They're always wanting to be on the go. It's that in a lot of Sagittarius people, they really want to kind of be free spirits. They kind of want to go out there and live life. They want to go and understand life. They want to understand other people. They just want to go out there and live with a higher purpose. Sagittarius people, they might not let a lot of things bring them down. They kind of always have this like crazy optimism to them, and they've probably been lucky a lot of their lives with a lot of those blessings from Jupiter. So some pros of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is really great with the optimism that they bring to everything in life. They just have this very cheerful, open, and they approach everything with a smile on their face. Sagittarius is also, really known for their, beautiful, charming smile that they bring around everywhere. Sag people, they're for the most part just going to be the optimistic type, the type that doesn't really see a lot of issues with most ideas unless they are not very integrity based or holistic. Sagittarius won't like that, and they'll probably be very vocal and brutal with their opinions on some of the moral undertones of that bad idea. They're down for adventure. They're down for almost anything that sounds fun and that sounds like they're actually enjoying life and getting the most out of their life. And also be really great teachers and bring with them a lot of knowledge to the groups and the people around them. And so a lot of people might, go to Sagittarius people for advice, just with a lot of for life themes, because Sagittarius will always bring this kind of like storybook lesson type energy with them. If you dive into more spiritual topics or philosophical topics, they're always going to have a story that kind of hits you with like a lesson at the end of it. Sagittarius is really good at looking at the broader themes in life and kind of connecting everything. Don't see them getting too nitty-gritty into the details like a Gemini or a Virgo would be at all, but Sagittarius has this like faith in something outside of themselves. Not to say that like all Sagittariuses will be religious or be spiritual or whatnot, but they will just kind of have this feeling that luck is on their side. Even when things aren't looking too great for them personally, they don't take it heavy, because Sagittarius does so much, whether it be physical travel or mental travel. They have this wisdom to them that kind of makes them seem beyond their years. And again, going back to the whole teacher or mentor aspect to their personality, this is why a lot of people trust them. Most people see them as pretty well-rounded with their belief systems or with their knowledge, and also give this like very independent vibe. It will come easy because they are a fire sign, so they just have this natural confidence to them, so they won't really need a lot of validation from other people necessarily. Definitely going to give you this like independent, restless spirit type vibe that a lot of people enjoy to be around. It's fun, and it's not locked in, and it's not heavy, and it's experimental, and it's fun, and it's adventurous and enticing on so many different levels. Ultimate truth tellers as well. So not only are they the ultimate truth seeker, but they're the ultimate truth teller. Everything with Sagittarius is going to be how you see it. Like, they are very honest. They don't really care to put on much of a show, to give it to you how it is. If you have a friend that's Sagittarius and you need to ask them a serious question and legit, truthful, objective answer out of somebody, then go to a Sagittarius, because they're going to give you the truth. And if you want to know if those genes make you look fat, ask a Sagittarius. They'll tell you the truth. Just realness, because you can tell that Sagittarius is not putting on an act. Like, who they are is who they are, and like, it's take it or leave it type energy. People that don't love the jealous type and need someone that's kind of gonna go off on their own and do their own thing, and a Sagittarius might be a great companion for you to have, because they don't get tied down to anything. They are really free. They might be really funny, again, because they're ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter is this kind of like funny type guy that everyone wants to be around. That's another thing. They might have a very easy time making friends. They're gonna have an easy time meshing in with a lot of different people. They have so many different interests, whether it be music, whether it be philosophy, whether it be religion, whether it be travel, whether it's just like the list goes on. People can like roll their eyes at Sagittarius a little bit because they just see them as like people that are just like with the big picture, and they're kind of like brushing over all the details, and so they don't really look at life on a very logical front or a very solid front. But that does not bother Sagittarius at all, because to them life is so much more than just the solid material logic everyone's so bogged down by. Sagittarius kind of can see that as a bit of a limitation. They can go quite deep with their soul searching and just like their philosophies in general. They're never gonna be so set in their ways about beliefs necessarily to the point where like they won't hear you out. Like a Sagittarius, again, because of that mutable energy, they're going to be open to hearing other people's opinions, other people's beliefs. They're going to be the type that you can have a conversation with about politics or religion and not feel worried about like losing them as friends. If it's something new they've never heard of, or they don't know much about it, they're not going to pretend like they do. They're going to want to hear you out, because again, they want to arrive at what the truth is, what the right thing is. So another great thing about Sagittarius is that they don't get bogged down in their feelings so much. Like, for example, a water sign would. That's the one thing. They don't really operate too much from that heart center type thing. They're more working with like higher chakras. I feel like they aren't really interested in talking about feelings really. Like, say they want to understand things like with their soul. I don't mean in a mushy emotional way. Like, they don't want to understand things with their heart like a water sign would. They want to understand things in the soul, like something that resonates with their soul as a being. They are more interested in passion, because they are a fire element. Of passion, I think of fire. When I think of emotion, I think of water. So that's just like where I'm coming from when I'm differentiating between the two like that. They're the types to be able to go to any country, any place, any little village, and they're not gonna like turn their nose up. If anything, they're gonna sit around with the village and like eat the same meals and really integrate, which is why I could see a lot of Sagittarius people becoming like anthropologists, philosophers as well. But think of like anthropology, because Sagittarius wants to like go and do it. I'm not worried about like the little nitty-gritty things, and they're not super detailed, and so they don't really overthink things. They just kind of go with the flow. I don't really like consequences in life, which again can be negative sometimes too, or just like the jolly type that want to enjoy and, you know, expand people's minds, have their minds expanded. Anyways, I hope that did justice to the pros. Let's dive into some of the cons. I realize it's not that sunny over here, so I'm just gonna film without my sunnies for the cons. Just can kind of have a hard time settling down in life, which also can be attributed to the mutable energy, which kind of makes them go all over the place. So Jupiter kind of has a hard time getting hard things done. Like, might have a hard time restricting themselves when it comes to enjoyment or when it comes to freedom. Or Sagittarius, they might have a hard time kind of sticking to routine. They might have a hard time sticking to their goals. They might have a hard time following through with some promises that they might make. Mutable energy can sometimes look a little flaky because they are all over the place. They're not really stuck into anything like a fixed sign would be. You know, mutable energy is down for adapting and is down for anything that might be better that might come along. Sometimes Sagittarius energy not look to be the most reliable or the most consistent. They kind of get this rep as being flighty when it comes to like relationships as well. Be interested in just traveling and like meeting new people and experiencing new things, and like they're more just interested on their expansive pursuits that sometimes, and again, because they're so independent, sometimes being with a partner doesn't work out for them, especially early on in life before they've kind of figured everything out. If it's expressing more negatively, they might get really bogged down in own interests and their own careers and pursuits that they really don't have much time or space for another person. I think that might be troublesome with Sagittarius because they're only looking at big picture ideas and to skim over the details, and sometimes the details are really important for figuring out the bigger picture in a more accurate lens. Sometimes people can just look at Sagittariuses as focusing on the big picture and not really looking at what really is there deep down, and their opinions might be founded on just like not a lot of accuracy and more so just on like their belief more so. Sagittarius can kind of lose some of their credibility. Information that might seem more credible or more like the truth, then they're so quick to abandon what they were like arguing with people about 10 minutes ago. Move on to the new topic that they find more exciting and shiny and more accurate, and so can sometimes be a little bit confused by the Sagittarius because it's just like, okay, I thought you believed this, but now you're like coming and saying that you believe this. And at the end of the day, like Sagittarius, they don't want to be believing in or preaching in things that really aren't accurate or really aren't their truth anymore. So they kind of change their mind a lot. They're so honest and brutal about their truth or what they believe to be the truth, then they might be very vocal and like fiery and fight with a lot of people about like beliefs. Sometimes a lot of people might get pissed off because they might fight so strongly for like their beliefs one second, and then like the next month it's like something completely different, and it's like, man, was that fight really worth it? Yearning or drive to go explore broad themes or more spiritual themes or cultural themes, whatever, but they might not have the best reason for why they're doing it. It's like they feel like they should be exploring these themes, or like they have like an attraction to it, but like very balanced people, or maybe they're not like the best types of people, and so they can kind of take advantage of easily. They can come to understand broad themes as well in life, and they could really manipulate people with that and almost give off this like false prophet type vibe. I feel like we do see that a lot in like new age spirituality. A lot of people that are like gurus, but then when you look more into it, it's like, yeah, I don't know, you have a hard time trusting whether or not their morals are really there. I feel like Sagittarius is like, they want their morals to be aligned with a higher purpose. Sometimes they want it so bad that they don't do the hard work. They have a hard time sticking to one thing. Sometimes they can have a hard time doing the actual nitty-gritty work that is required to have this like spiritual enlightenment or have this like spiritual knowledge. They just kind of fake it. A lot of people get turned off by that because it's like, man, I thought that you were this like truth teller, but it seems like you just want to tell the truth when it's convenient for you or when you're going to profit off of it or whatnot. And Sagittarius, they might just have like trouble, ironically enough, they're like out to discover life and whatnot, but at the same time they can have trouble with like real life because they're so like just stuck in this like almost like fantasy land, you know, of like wanting to explore and like adventure and go to new places. And like Sagittarius, they kind of just like are up in their heads, just like dreaming about like the next place they want to go to and explore. What they get really upset and turned off by just like everyday details and just like mundane things. And so, you know, if you're a Sagittarius, you should look, or have like heavy Sagittarius influence in your chart, you should maybe look at jobs or careers that are going to allow you to travel and are going to allow you to interact with multiple different people, different cultures, maybe something that makes you travel overseas to countries that you've never been to before, just like stuff like that, because Sagittarius can really get really sad and depressed and just like lose touch with the real meaning of life. And if they're stuck in like a 9-to-5 that they hate, or you know, they have this like routine or like family life that's like very demanding and, you know, restricts them a lot. That's a big thing. Like Sagittarius, they need their freedom, and if they feel like they're being restricted in any way, shape, or form, they are going to either be very cranky and not very happy, or run away from their responsibilities. And Sagittarius, they might be the type to like run away from relationships, run away from commitment, responsibility, just like things that require them to be a little bit more restrictive. Or my biggest advice for Sagittarius would either be, if you know that you're somebody that doesn't like to be tied down and doesn't like to do all that, then maybe just accept that and stop trying to force yourself to fit to a 9-to-5, or trying to force yourself into marriage so early if you like don't feel like that's right for you, Sagittarius, and these things kind of ring true to you. Maybe look for things that are going to allow you to have freedom. Maybe don't get married, maybe, you know, wait a bit, go travel. But I think I'm gonna wrap this video up. I'm feeling a little more low energy today, so I'm not cracking as many jokes and I'm not talking as fast and my brain is not pinging as quick as it usually would be. Apologize for that, but nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that this did Sagittarius justice. If you know a Sagittarius and you think that they would enjoy listening to this video, send it to them. Really lovely talking to you guys today. I know if you're in Canada, please go out, enjoy this weather, get some fresh air, go for a walk. You will not regret it, I promise. My next video coming out will be Capricorn, so stay tuned for that. And until then, I will talk to you later. Bye guys.